I've seen Black Americans talk about moving back to Africa in several like threads, posts, Facebook over the years, and then I saw the TikTok that went viral of the guy explaining it and breaking down how we could do it and everything. And from reading the comments, I just was like, so y'all think because we're Black American that we can't be colonizers? And I have been saying this for a little while, that whether it's going back to Africa or picking a state somewhere in the South, you have to do it strategically so that you don't Mansa Musa the heck out of everything. If you know anything about the Bay Area and how the tech industry has pushed out like Black people and different people in different communities, that is essentially what would happen if you decide to move to Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, and don't do it strategically. Because what happens is you go there and are willing to pay anything for a house or for things, and then you raise the cost of living for the people who live there. You can afford it, but then particularly with Mississippi already being a poor state in certain areas, you're going to make it even worse for them. And let's not conflate two things. I'm not saying you're going to all of a sudden be racist. I understand that we are the ones that be prejudiced, bigoted, but you can still be a colonizer, because everyone who is born in a Wahite supremacist country is born a Wahite supremacist. You have to unlock the chains and break out of the prison of your mind of centering your life around whiteness. One thing in the viral video like that people were commenting, like, did Namibia agree to this? That was like one of my main questions. That's like first step in colonizer. You randomly pick the country to go to. Did you ain't mentioned asking for permission. It was just like, this is what we want to do, without any consideration to what the people of Namibia need or want. And who else comes up with full ideas without considering the people involved? Class. As we know, and this is what I say to Wahite people, a Wahite person could have the kindest heart, but as soon as they move into a Black neighborhood, they raise the prices and the value of the neighborhood because of the color of their skin. No ill intent intended. The same thing can happen with your Americanness. Anybody who travels know if you go to these different places, once they know you're American, they start to charge you more. Then that starts to affect the economy. When you're just a visitor, when you're just a tourist, it's that temporary hit and it doesn't affect, but once you start staying, it affects more stuff. Black Americans will mention moving to African countries to help them. Okay, did they say they needed your help? Did they say they need your help in the way that you think that they need help? What kind of help do they need? Are you going to give them the help that they need, or are you going to give them the help for you to be comfortable and make the area they live in similar to America, and you think that's helping? For years now, I've wondered about the concept of being civilized, because the Europeans went to the continent of Africa, went to the Americas, and determined that these people who had sophisticated systems were civilized because of how they dressed, or because they were not like the Europeans, because it's definitely civilized to pillage the entire world and make it seem that people different from you are less than. Very civilized, whether it was through enslavement or colonization. Different sides of the same coin. And now Black Americans want to go to the continent to subconsciously civilize the African people. And very obviously, I'm not saying that everybody is trying to do this, but this is a point that I'm making to make you think outside of the box. And what makes you think, from sitting on your couch in the US, that what you think a country needs means a hill of beans, and it's not involved in adding to what they already do, adding to their culture, adding, not replacing, or just adding what you think they need so that you can have comfort. And it's all ego. People have to do things their own way. Burger King, have it your way. And then somebody in the comments in the video was like, oh, how much does it cost to build a house there? And then someone was like, oh, for a luxury home, it's $60,000. What makes you think off jump that's not a problematic thought? Because why does it need to be a luxury home? Because you're a capitalist? So we have the experience in living in the US and living in our neighborhoods, and we feel that our homes are nice. And then Wahite people move into our neighborhoods and try to upgrade it and remove all of the culture and make it comfortable for them, as opposed to going out into the environment and learning the environment and becoming a part of the environment. They want to change the environment to suit their needs. And you don't think that's similar? If you want to go to an African country and live the life of luxury, how do you not see that's the same thing? When you haven't studied colonization, gentrification, Wahite supremacy, and capitalism, you think that's an innocent thought. You don't realize that you have to decolonize your mind in order to think about the fact that if a bunch of people move to the same area and build luxury homes, what happens to the people who already live there? Again, Mansa Musa, go read about that story. He destroyed economies from just giving money away. If you're going to go to an African country, or even if you're going to go to the South, you should want to live like those people live. Yes, you can add your spice to it and make it a more communal culture, but to go in and think about changing everything or think about dominating everything, yeah, Black people can't be colonizers.